Wow, my heart is beating fast. I was hoping that you could help me work through a pretty big area that I have resistance in.
Certainly.
I'm a singer-songwriter, and I haven't quite formed things into questions yet, but okay, to start with, I have a thing on age, and you were talking about it earlier, and that kind of helped answer some of the questions, but especially in this business, everybody wants to know how old you are, and I get asked that question constantly, and I feel stuck because I don't feel comfortable with how old I am, and I don't feel comfortable with lying about how old I am because most people think that I'm a lot younger, and I'd rather let them assume that I'm younger. So, what would be the best
Here's the
answer
thing.
to that?
This is really worth spending some time on because we've already talked here today about how common it is to care more about people's response to you than you care about how you feel about something. Mm-hmm. And yet, a big part of maintaining your balance about how you feel is by factoring out what they think. And here, this feels like a trap because you're almost forced to tell them the answer to that question in order to be honest. And yet, then you must deal with their response to the answer, which puts you upstream. So it feels like you cannot win. Mm-hmm. We want you to remember that you can, under all conditions, win, because all you have to do is align your own energy. So let's play with this just a little bit. Let's talk about what's over there in your vibrational escrow. So people demand to know how old you are, which makes you not want to tell them. So over there in vibrational escrow is your idea that you should get to be whatever age you decide to be. Also, as you interact with people, you are aware that when they, as we talked about Jerry earlier, their expectations about you are predicated, for the most part, on how old they think you are, which makes you now throw over into vibrational escrow your desire for them not to know. So there's this mix that's going on over there in vibrational escrow. We would suggest that all you have to do, because the thing that's tripping you up here is you want to be honest, but you don't want to tell them. So it's like,
because I don't feel good about where I am in relationship to my career. Like I should have been 21 when. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
we do, but what we are getting at, because you don't have to go into all of that, we're just saying that you want to tell them because you think you should, because there's a tendency to believe that anybody, especially those in a place of authority like hiring you, deserve the answer. So you want to tell them because you think you should, but you don't want to tell them because you don't want it to affect the way they feel about you. So you've got cross current going on that you have to find a way of bringing into alignment. Mm-hmm. If we were standing in physical shoes, we would develop our new system that would be private, that we would use for factoring in our age. And in our mind, instead of calling it our age, we would call it our age factor or our age ratio. Don't use the words to them, but it's my way of defining my age. And I get 1 point for every year I am, but then I get to subtract points for different things like vitality, clarity, alignment, because you know, there are people who are much older than they appear to be, and there are people who are much younger than they appear to be, and we want you to factor in that alignment has everything to do with all of that. In other words, you are young at heart, they say. You're only as old as you feel. And so there are a lot of people that have been trying to say that in different ways. And so you've decided to just really take it to heart. And so you get to pick whatever game you want to play to adjust your age to whatever you want it to be. Now, what does that do for you in terms of, so you are coming into alignment with the idea that this is for you to choose? Or do you think that this is a statistic that the world should have ready access to? Because you see, the reason that you're wrestling with this is because you are coming to understand that in order for you to create anything that you want, all you have to do is decide what it is and line up with it. But when you try to factor in what everybody else thinks about you and what you want, now you just scramble your energy. In fact, in your music career to begin with, there is some of that contradiction of energy in it.
There's a lot of it.
Because you want to please them, and you can't please them and please you at the same time. And so what it really comes down to, and we would encourage you to start with the age thing and then move right on through everything that has to do with everything, where you come to a decision that goes something like, I've decided that I'm going to align with who I am, and they can all take it or leave it. And what our promise to you is that when you align with who you are, you will be offering a vibration that is so powerful and so influential. You will be so attractive in terms of what you're wanting that others will flock to you, wanting what you have. So, pick an age, adjust it based upon alignment, and then speak it without any guilt because it is accurate.
Really? But then what if they find out that I lied?
Well, you've missed the point. You didn't lie. You didn't lie. You told them a truer story. You said, you know, you're missing the point of age. You're trying to put a numerical number on it, and I'm trying to let you know that with all things, there's a vibrational factor that you're not factoring in. And the only reason that you're asking about age is because you want to know about clarity and longevity and vitality. So I'm just giving you a more accurate picture that answers all of that instead of you using the deceptive one that you've been using. Don't tell them, they'll never understand. Just tell yourself and feel good about telling them. Do you know, there are people all around who lie all day, every day, and because they're in alignment with their lie, they never get caught.
Yeah.
You all say, oh, I need to tell the truth, and the truth is such and such, and we say, never mind the truth, what aligns you? In other words, there are much greater factors than the truth of it is that there are realities that you don't want. And when you give your attention to those truthful realities that you don't want, you activate a vibration and you attract what you do not want. The criteria that you're wanting to use in the way you position your mind is not how true it is, it's how it makes you feel. Alignment is all that matters. So if you were really giving them the full answer, which they're not ready to hear, your answer would be, you know, I've carefully considered your question when you asked me how old I am. And I realize that you think it is a simple question, but it's not really, because you're going to use my answer to factor in all kinds of things about me that I don't want you to factor in that way because I think they're deceptive in nature. And so in order to keep you from making the mistake that you're about to make, I'm giving you a fuller answer based upon more accurate information to benefit all of us involved in this project. That's the truth of it, you see.
Yeah.
Well, we realize we have some work to do on you because you're not, and when you go home and you tell everyone, well, we learned how to lie. Abraham taught us. It turns out the art of allowing and the art of lying are exactly the same thing. And we say, it's the art of lining up with what you want. You want to be over there and you're over here. So to say that you're over there is a lie. But if you keep saying you're over here, you'll never get over there. So don't you think it's worth lying? Don't you think it's worth telling it the way you want it to be rather than the way that it is? Never face reality unless you want to stay right there forever. So the best answer is, it's really not any of your business, but that doesn't go over well with people who think things are their business. And so you just tell them everything that they need to know, but not so much that it's detrimental to them and to you. So you could say, who wants to know? Have fun with it. You could say, how old do you think I am?
Yeah, I've used those. Yep.
Well, how old do you think I am? And do they guess younger?
Always.
And then just gush over how intuitive they are. Or you could, when they say, how old are you? You could say, that's a variable. It depends on who's asking. Or, how old are you? And of course, we know that they're wanting some. Do they ever ask for documentation?
Yes, sometimes.
Well, then that's different. You're going to have to phony your documentation too. That requires collusion. But for the most part, they do not. For the most part, they do not.
Right.
And so we're really not wanting you to be confrontive with them. We just want you to get playful about it. And when you have played it into a place that it's not an issue, it will be much less of an issue. In other words, think of the people who are at the top of their game, who are sought after for different positions. Do you think they're asking them how old they are? Do you think they would dare ask those divas how old they are? Or do you think that it is relative to anyone? You see, people are just hung up on age, and it's time that they get over it, because it's not helping any of you. It's a very hindering
Especially in
observation.
the entertainment business. Yeah.
All around. In the media, you hardly ever see a name mentioned without an age that follows it. In other words, I want to give you the whole scoop on this person by telling you how old they are. And we think it would be much better to say, Esther Hicks, aligned.
Yeah.
Jerry Hicks, tuned in, tapped in, turned on. In other words, that's the only thing that is important to understand. And when you put it into that proximity, into that criteria for yourself, it will become a non-issue. Now let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
Okay. The next area would be when it comes to my career. I don't even like to call it a career, because I don't feel at this point that I have a career.
That honesty thing is just going to kill you. You've got tell it like it is itis.
I know, yeah.
Did you have someone up close to you that demanded that you not ever offer any deception whatsoever? In other words, where did this over-eagerness to nail your foot to the floor come from? Well, you know, you're onto something there, because what you're saying is, it's important to me to present myself accurately. And so we would like to present yourself accurately from our point of view, because we want you to catch a glimpse of who we see you as. We know who you are as you came in, and we've seen what life has caused you to become. And we give our undivided attention to your vibrational escrow, and so do all of the resources of the universe. And if you don't turn your attention to what's in your vibrational escrow, you cause a splitting of energies that keeps your life from going the way you want to. You've got to start looking at the real you. You've got to stop being so deceptive and looking dishonestly at the temporary you. You must start looking at the authentic you. And the authentic you is over there in vibrational escrow. You see what we're getting at?
Yeah.
Did you hear that? The authentic you, the you that law of attraction is responding to most powerfully. That's why the stream flows as it does. You're over here. This is who you are. And you're uncomfortable until the rest of you comes with it. So why are you clinging so hard to the statistics that measure where you are, when the authentic you is over there with a career that is beyond description from your physical terms right now? You've got to start looking that way and start trying to define it. And most of all, you've got to stop feeling that that's deception, because where you are is the true deception. That's why it feels so bad. Not letting yourself be who you are is the great lie you are telling, you see.